don't know what you've got until it's gone. For me, I never really knew what I was missing until I met him. I'm not talking about some sappy rom-com mess. Boy meets girl who is hopelessly out of his league, blinded from afar, and some kind of confrontation, they finally end up together. Sort of thing. I'll start from the beginning. Life is great. I'm financially stable with a happy family, I go to a great school, and I have some amazing friends. What more do you need? I didn't think I needed anything more. Fast forward to this night. This one night. It's my first day coming back home to Duke from summer break, and I'm ready to start the year right. After all my classes end, I go to hang out with my two closest friends, who also happen to be with another friend. Let's just call him Luke. We all chill together for a bit, and by the end of the night, we are too sober. My two best friends call it quits, so Luke and I decide to head back together, since we live just next to each other. We're still a little too high for the night to end just yet, so we decided to hang out in my room. It's just small talk at first. The classic, how was your summer? Great. I visited 28 countries. How was yours? Awesome. I cured cancer. Sort of do talk. But eventually we got to deeper topics. For context, Luke and I aren't that close. Our only connection is my two mutual friends with him, and the fact that we're both queer. The only reason we knew this intimate detail about each other was because of one previous late night talk with all four of us together. After that, though, we never really mentioned it. It was more of an unspoken understanding between us. Now, before you jump to any conclusions about how this particular mind-blowing night ended, no. We kept our clothes on. It's almost like two queer dudes can spend time together without it devolving into a massive primal orgy. Anyways, back to the night. So here we are in one of those deep late night talks that I'm sure most college students have once in a while. Now, we're getting to a part that I'm not sure I can describe to with words, but I'll try. We start talking about these problems that we're going through. All these value conflicts are happening over our sexuality. Slowly and slowly, I realize that this human sitting in front of me has more in common with me than I'd ever imagined. Here we are, different races, from different parts of the US, with different interests and different social circles. But suddenly, everything is not so different anymore. And I promise you, it's not like I could have had this conversation with just any queer dude. There's so many different struggles that a population as diverse as the queer community faces. No, in fact, these are things which I never found anyone with whom I was on the same wavelength about. Issues that I thought only I had. A queer person of color raised in a pretty liberal environment, but who strongly valued tradition and family, which, dare I say, puts me on a more conservative stance than many of those around me. On one side, I felt that those around me who fervently supported LGBT rights would demonize me for my beliefs and personal choices. On the other side, I felt like those who I share my beliefs with would be aghast with my sexuality. I call this problem personal limbo. Or alternatively, the wow. You got fucked the fuck over by God. I cannot stress how lonely this situation was. Everywhere I went, I always had something to hide. Always. I felt like that because of my situation, all my worst thoughts and doubts about myself, I bore on my own. I did not know a single human soul who was in my limbo with me. Some people would call me fake, or hypocritical, or cowardly, or just plain stupid. I don't know. I was just doing me. This is how I developed myself, with my sexuality and my views on life. I wasn't really content with living my life alone like this, but then again, I didn't really see any other possible options, so I just settled in and plodded along. Then this night happened. As Luke and I talked, we realized just how similar our situations were. We were going through the same internal struggles in the same limbo. This was earth-shattering, mind-blowing, life-changing. When I realized this, it felt like my entire existence as a human being was validated. I thought of all the times I had told myself, just bear this pain, it's the cards you've been dealt, and you just have to go through it alone. Every time I pretended to be straight for my family. Every time I justified my choices to myself, saying I owe my family everything. I owe my God everything. Every single fucking time I felt so alone in the world. Come on. I never knew how lonely I was until Luke made me realize that there are actual human beings out there stuck in this limbo with me. And I definitely never imagined it could be someone so seemingly different from me that could change my life like this. All I know is that I have had 101 deep talks with other queer people, but they just didn't seem to understand my situation like Luke did. And in this one night, knowing that at least one other person was there with me, I knew I wasn't insane for living my life with the many masks I had on. That night, I finally saw someone. I saw someone without his masks, and he's the first human being to see me without all of my masks. In that moment, I was finally peaceful. In that moment, I finally felt whole. Maybe you're thinking, this is just another sad case of a queer kid who's too afraid to come out. Let me tell you. You are the reason why I could never trust the queer community. Let me tell you that apart from being queer, we have very little in common in our worldview and value systems. Maybe you're thinking, this isn't any different from any struggles faced by a queer person. If you're actually queer, and you've been living your life in this limbo like I've described, where the fuck have you been my entire life? Hit me up! If you're straight, reevaluate why you feel like you know what queer struggles are. But for real, that 12 a.m. to 8 a.m. talk was probably the most defining point of my life so far. At the end of that night, it felt like God was telling me, you're not wrong. You're not alone. Maybe he finally feels bad for fucking me the fuck over.